Hello, this is Team 10's assignment 3 for OOP. So, basically we have things divided into three main files. So we have the driver, which basically has the argument parser. So here's where the argument is parsed, and if it's valid, it gets sent to the Pokédex. Here's where the Pokédex object is created as well. And then in the Pokédex we have a lot of classes, so everything is separated into classes, but it's all within the same module because we couldn't really get the modules to work properly. So this also includes utility classes like a query executor and a parser. And so when the Pokédex gets called, when the execute request gets called, here is where we basically check if we have an input file or not. And then we read all the possible lines, and we also interpret the request if it needs to be expanded or not. So then we make requests using async.io, or otherwise we use the query executor. So first we need to set some configurations for async.io in order to make it work, and then we use a query executor class to execute the request. So if we go to the query executor, here is where we start the HTTP session and we make the GET request. And then the response gets parsed, so over here this response gets parsed and it gets converted into the Pokédex items by using a parser class. So we have this parser class that, so here we wish we could have used polymorphism, but we were in a bit of a hurry, and at least we did use an enum to be able to check, okay, which type of request we have, and then parse the request into the valid type of object. So these are Pokédex items actually. So then we just parse these, create the objects using these kind of factory methods, and then the data gets either saved into a file or printed out into console depending on whether the user specifies a file name. And we also format the output. So we can take a look here. For example, if we search for a Pokemon called Charizard, we get all this interesting info, and because we didn't use the expanded mode, these stats show just regularly. So what if we were to add expanded here? Then we just get a little bit of extra info about the stats. So these are actually executing 7 requests in total because it needs to make 1 extra request for each stat. Then we can also use as input data just an ID, and this should work as well, like this. So now we get Pokemon number 4, which is Charmander, and also we got 7 requests, and we get all the special data about the stats. We can also specify an output file, so we can just say that the output is my output.txt. And so this actually generates the output over here. So now we see my output.txt contains the Charmander info. And we can also use an input file. So for example, we can search for Charmander 1 and Pikachu maybe. So now we can say, instead of input data, we can say input file and the name of the file, which is input.txt. And so now we see Pikachu's moves here. Yep, this is Pikachu. And then we have number 1, which should be Bulbasaur. And then we have Charmander. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We haven't found any edge case that it can handle. So for example, if we have something invalid here, then this should give us a little error here. Or if we, for example, if we have a Pokemon that doesn't exist, then we also get another error. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.